Welcome to your second stimulus check update, stimulus package update, and stimulus news report for Tuesday, September 15th. Over the past couple of months, we have seen Congress go back and forth with stimulus negotiations. And to this day, they have still not arrived at anything. People all across America are getting tired of their empty promises, their lack of leadership, and constant need to play political games. It is because of this that I, for one, am glad that the Problem Solvers Caucus is on our side. Now, the Problem Solvers Caucus is comprised of a group of 48 people, 24 Democrats and 24 Republicans, that try to work out problems on a bipartisan basis. They want to reach agreements on bipartisan deals. Now, if you didn't watch the video that I did late yesterday afternoon, I will link to it down in the description box below, where I talk about what the Problem Solvers Caucus is trying to do, and they're trying to propose a new bill. Well, this bill, as of this morning, I'm shooting this video, it's 3:45 Pacific Standard Time, so that's 6:45 Eastern Standard Time, so it's before really any news ever breaks. However, I'm doing this video to keep you updated on everything that's happened in the last 24 hours. Now, America is supposed to be one of the greatest countries in the world. However, how can we be one of the greatest countries in the world when our leaders can't do what is best for their greatest asset, the American people? To me, I just don't understand why would our leaders neglect the American people when they are supposed to serve us. Yesterday, I reported how the Problem Solvers Caucus is working on a new stimulus proposal which they plan on revealing in the coming days. It could happen today, it could happen tomorrow, it could happen on Friday. We just don't know. We already know that White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows has been read in on this proposal, and based on all reports, this could be the one. Now, I don't want to get your hopes up, and because of everything that's happened, right, I don't want to tell you that yes, the Problem Solvers Caucus is going to solve this. However, there's a really good chance, and the reason I don't want to get your hopes up is because Mark Meadows has been in favor of multiple packages. For instance, Mark Meadows was in favor of a $1 trillion stimulus package, the HEALS Act. Nancy Pelosi, she wasn't moved. Also, Mark Meadows was in favor of a $1.3 trillion stimulus package. Nancy Pelosi said it was not enough. So, just because Mark Meadows believes this could be it, does not mean this will be the one. It could be, but we don't know. Now, this new stimulus package is, based on our reports, is supposed to be anywhere from $1.5 trillion to $1.8 trillion. If it's anything less than that, Democrats are not going to jump on it. If it's anything more than that, Republicans might have more to say. My only thought is, what will Nancy Pelosi say? What will she do if it does come in at $1.8 trillion? Also, if we do see the stimulus proposal this week, then expect Treasury Secretary Mnuchin to reach out to Nancy Pelosi as soon as possible to discuss this package a little bit further. Hopefully, this conversation, this phone call, lasts more than just 26 minutes. Yesterday, Mnuchin expressed his concern that Republicans are too focused on the fiscal issues surrounding the bill and not the economic climate. We have known this for multiple months. Mitch McConnell has stated this multiple times, and I think since then he has backed off his stance. However, he stated that we do not need an additional stimulus. That was many months ago. He's now backed off of that, and he is urging his fellow senators to pass some type of bill, maybe a skinny bill, to give the American people what they need, additional stimulus. State and local government funding is not one of those. However, he is willing to do it. Second stimulus check, unemployment extension. He was against another unemployment extension. However, he has since backed off of that. Now, any stimulus, whether It be 500 billion, 1 trillion, 2 trillion, or even $3 trillion will most likely not be enough. This is what one top economist had to say. This economist also goes on to say that this pandemic is worse than originally predicted. And even though the economy is starting to come back and is coming back faster than expected, the last bit of recovery is going to be the hardest. I mentioned this in a video about a month ago, that the end recovery is going to be the toughest because that is where many things will not come back. It will never come back. It will never be the same. With millions of jobs permanently lost, businesses closed for good, schools afraid to open to in-person learning, the travel industry at an all-time low, renters owing more than $21 billion in back rent, and still no sign of a vaccine anytime soon, the economy needs the life support that another round of stimulus would provide. Many people are urging Congress to pass an additional stimulus. That includes a stimulus check, that's $1,200 for filers, $1,200 for their spouse, $500 for their dependents. Also includes unemployment, stimulus for businesses. There's so much stimulus that needs to go around to get our economy back to where it was. Nancy Pelosi even expressed her concern moving forward as well, saying in a tweet, she wrote, says any Republican scheme that has nothing for rent assistance is relief in name only. Now, I couldn't agree with Nancy Pelosi more here. Renters need more help than just an eviction moratorium. Yes, I understand with so many renters behind multiple months on rent, as soon as the eviction moratorium is over, that would be January 1st, as soon as this is over, these renters could be out on the streets and their landlords will be forced to live with months of lost rents. This is why the legislation within the Problem Solvers Caucus proposal will be extremely important. What will be included? How much will be included? How much is available? Will Democrats agree initially? Now, I say initially because it must start with Democrats. If Democrats can't agree, then there is no point to take this bill to the Senate, where even in the Senate they are in complete disarray and they cannot even think about passing a bill. They can't agree on anything. So why would we take a bill to the Senate when they can't agree on what should be in a bill, how much it should be, or should we even vote? The Senate, again, is in complete disarray. Now, over the past week or so, I have said this a few times that we only have a couple paths forward. However, with the Problem Solvers Caucus now jumping in, we have 3 paths moving forward that I think would be easy to get to. First off, Democrats could pare down their HEROES Act and get it to somewhere around $2.2 trillion and go on and do a revote. I think this would obviously pass throughout the House, and I think it would have a good chance passing through the Senate at this point, depending on what's in it and how much money is allocated to state and local governments. Also, the next path, President Trump could do another round of executive orders. This would include a second stimulus check. This would include another round of unemployment extension, that enhancement, $300 per week. This would also include funding for the airline industry, and he would fix the payroll tax deferral that he set in place in the last round of executive orders. And now, the new one. Problem Solvers Caucus steps in and proposes a bill that the majority of both parties could support. I say the majority, it does not need to be all. If it's all the Democrats support this new bill and a handful of Republicans, it will pass. If all Republicans support this bill, which is highly unlikely, and a handful of Democrats, it would pass. But like I said, we need to kick it over to the Democrats first, because if it has no support, no Democratic support, it won't pass either the House or the Senate, specifically the Senate. Right now, the Problem Solvers Caucus looks to include the following into their bill. This is just based off reports. I have not seen the bill yet. Again, as of right now, it's probably 4 a.m. This morning. So as of right now, yeah, we'll see what happens later on when people actually get to get to work and start giving us some updates. But right now, that's the time. So here's what is probably going to be in this bill, according to multiple reports. First off, we have a $1,200 stimulus check, $1,200 and $500. We have a $300 to $400 unemployment extension that will go on through the end of 2020. We also have liability protections. This will be for both businesses, some businesses, and for the workers. So it's a mix of both. We also have school funding. Based on what many people are saying, that schools need more than $105 billion, which was already agreed upon between the Democrats and the Republicans. So this bill will most likely be over $105 billion, and it could be up to $150 billion for school funding. Also, state and local government funding. Initially, Republicans agreed on $150 billion for state and local governments. Nancy Pelosi wanted $900 billion, almost $1 trillion. Now, they're not going to get $900 billion, but Nancy Pelosi knows she can come back in January and try to get more funding for state and local governments. So that's probably what's going to happen. So initially, in this bill, it will probably be anywhere from $300 to $500 billion. There will be money for rental assistance, probably in the ballpark of $50 to $75 billion. There'll also be funding for food assistance. As of right now, I'm not sure how much will be there, but there'll be a decent amount. There'll be funding for the United States Postal Service, anywhere from 10 to 20 billion, and also PPP funding. There could even be a clause within this bill that states any leftover funds from that $300 billion from the CARES Act could be used or repurposed in this proposal, in this bill, if passed. What I can tell you now is that you should not lose all hope. Okay, we still have a chance to see some stimulus prior to the upcoming election. However, if we don't see any stimulus prior to the election, and we see the jobs reports for October and November come out and they are showing little signs of improvement, then expect a stimulus package soon after. Many people currently, right now, as we're watching this video, many people are fearful that we are not going to get any additional stimulus. I am not so fearful. I know that we will see some additional stimulus, but it might not be before this November election. It might be after. It might be in January. It might be a little bit later. But I do know we will see something. So yes, I am fearful that we might not see stimulus for another 5 or 6 months. However, I am hopeful that we see something within the next couple of weeks before Congress goes back on recess for their campaigning prior to the election. So that is your second stimulus check update, stimulus package update, and stimulus news report for Tuesday, September 15th. Hopefully you enjoyed today's video. Can you do me a favor? If you are glad that I continue to put in hours and hours of my time to bring you updates on stimulus, can you go ahead, click that thumbs up button, subscribe if you want to stay updated on all things stimulus and how to make money online, and I'll see you guys on the next one.